Ladies and gentlemen, grab your tea and get ready for Tea Talk, where the topics are real, relevant, and relaxing. It's Tea Talk time. Here's Lady O.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Tea Talk Time. I am so excited today about our subject matter. So I'm telling you, you want to go and share with someone right now. It's about marriage, okay? And when we're looking at the different things in the world that are a great topic and a very sad disposition sometimes, it's marriage. A lot of our marriages are having trouble, and the pandemic didn't help. We have to be locked in together for real 24/7. And I tell you what, it really has put a strain on some of the marriages with all of the things we've had to go to. And even before the pandemic, now, truth be told, we've had some issues as well. Divorce rates are high, even among the Christians that know the Lord and supposed to know how to handle it. Divorce rate is just as high among the Christians. So this is a very sad disposition here, but we want to help some people out today. So if you know of somebody who is not married and you know one day they're going to get married, they need to be on today, because it's better to learn it before you get in it. Okay. What's going to be required, and so you can learn the lessons that many of us had to learn the hard way. And some people ended up in divorce, but if they had known some things, it might would have been different. So if you're married, and especially these young people that are married, you need to get your children, your married children, everybody on here, these young marriages. We want you all to stay together. You're together. We want you to stay together. So we're going to give you some great tidbits today on that. And if you're thinking about divorce, before you get that divorce, you need to hear from my guest today and learn some things. We want to keep y'all together. Let's, that's being pastor's theme. Let's stay together. And that's why, with the good Lord's help and that determination and good people speaking in our lives and helping us along the way when we were younger, that's how we stayed together for 48 years. And we even have something for those of you all that are going through divorce or that have already gotten divorced. So stay tuned for a great show. Invite your family and friends, your neighbors, co-workers, and those children that need to be on there today. So hello, Gina Smith. I see you on there, and Petra, some of my friends, and Tracy and Tisha, and Sister Reese, Ophelia Reese, I see you there. And so I want to say hello and welcome. You all go ahead and get your friends on. Sister Gina, I see you, and Flair. Y'all come on, get your friends going and share, because this is important information. Now listen, the guest, let me tell you about God. You know, I always have to brag on God at the very beginning. You know, when I started this a little over a year ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't quite know, but I'm learning. I'm going to learn from our guest today, too, because he's been doing this for a long time. I asked the Lord if you would give me something to tell your people every week that was going to be something relevant, something real that would help them, that I would do this. And he has done that. So this week, we're talking about marriage. And I really I said, Lord, I really wish I had someone on the show, because I've got a lot of, panelists and things like that have been married, divorced, and not to talk about real issues. But I wish I had an author, someone who had a book that we could put in the people's hand that they could read or they could refer to later on. And so, I'm all about learning and reading. So you can hear everything, but you need to have something in your hand. So I was strolling through my emails one morning, and I saw Willie Jolly, and he had this book on marriage. I said, what? And I said, I know him, kind of like we know it. We had met him a long time ago. Haven't seen him in a long time, but you know how you just feel like you still know that person when you see their name. So anyway, I just emailed him and asked him if he would be willing to come on and talk to our guests, our people today, as my special guest, and talk about his book. So he and his wife have agreed to come on. They've been married 33 years. So let me just tell you a little bit about him, and then we're going to learn a lot more in just a minute. But listen, he is a motivational speaker among speakers, okay? So he is described, as a world-class Hall of Fame speaker, okay? And he has gone on to be named also one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by 175,000 members of Toastmasters International. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame and achieved distinction of Certified Speakers Professional by the National Speakers Association. He has been awarded one of the top 5 leadership speakers by the Distinguished Leadership Award. And he is just a great all-around man, a great all-around husband, a great all-around author. And so he and his wife, as I said before, her name is Dee Taylor Jolly. Been married 33 years, so they can tell you something. You know, I'm always leery about people who write a book after they've been married 2 or 3 years. I'm saying you don't even know what it's all about, so stay in there a little bit longer. But anyway, they have a lot that they can share. He is degreed and he is hails from Washington, D.C. So help me welcome today to Tea Talk from Washington, D.C., Dr. Willie Jolly and his wife, Dee. Can you go ahead and give it up for them? Hello, welcome.
Well, thank you. Greetings and salutations, Lady O, and greetings to your pastor, husband, doctor, gentleman, fantastic guy who is my friend, Dr. John. We are grateful. Last time he was in D.C., he was staying at a hotel not far from my home. So we communicated. I dropped some resources over to him. I had a great time when I spoke on the MoneyWise tour, where I met you folks. On the MoneyWise tour, I was one of the keynote speakers along with Dennis Kimbrough and a few others. And we came through Houston and spoke at the MoneyWise event at your church, and it was fantastic. And so I am so grateful, and I kept the numbers in my phone and said, I got to stay close to these folks. So they're fantastic. So first of all, I want to say thank you and greetings to everybody who's joining us. I'm Dr. Willie Jolly, and this is my beautiful bride. Who are you?
I would say me, but I'm Dee Taylor Jolly. Thank you for having us.
Now, Lady O, you are right. We've been married for... Actually, we've been married for 36 years, but you were right about the 33. 33 is when we really got married, okay? We got married.
We got going.
We really, so we've been married for 36 years, but we haven't had an argument in 33 years. Okay, we haven't had an argument in 33 years.
Because?
Well, because we learned how to stop arguing. That's how we learned.
It was terrible.
It was bad. It was bad. Look, we were on a TV show, and they asked us, "You mean you never had an argument?" I said, "I didn't say that. I said we haven't had an argument in 33 years. Those first couple of years were like World War III." but we learned some wise principles and some wise lessons from some wise mentors. First thing I want to share with everybody, you write this one down. Mentors versus mistakes. 2 ways to get to any goal. Mentors versus mistakes. 2 ways to get to any goal. Now, both will get you there if you don't give up. One just gets you there with less heartaches, headaches, and knots upside your head. So you need to get mentors in every part of your life.
They don't have to be people that you actually see on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, you don't have to
or interact with, but they're people that you know from observing them, reading about them, that are on the path that you want to be on.
Right. Mentors have done what you want to do, and they're telling you, here are the pitfalls. Here are the bumps in the road. You don't have to go through what we've been already through. So a mentor is someone who's achieved some level of success, and you get good counsel from them. You know, the Bible says there's safety in a multitude of counselors. So what we encourage people to do is get wise mentors, like we got wise marriage mentors. Like I remember, by the way, many of you will hear me on my Sirius XM show on channel 141, which is the #1 self-help show in the country now. But many others.
Now say that again. Now, Sirius. Okay, you're going a little fast for me. Sirius.
I know. I forgot. I talk from. I'm a northerner, and I talk real fast.
Real fast. Because I was slow down. Let me slow you down a minute. Because I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You said it really fast, but it really is very key. You said when you first got married, it was World War I or II, something like that. Okay.
When we first got married.
When you first get married. So this is normal, guys. So if you're in that first part of your marriage and you're about to quit, don't quit. Okay. We're here to tell you that the first couple of years is like a World War I because you got 2 people trying to come together. And it's just not normal for 2 people to be one. You got to work at it. So talk about, the mentoring thing. if you can get somebody to talk to who has been there and done that, I think that's the key. That a lot of people make mistakes is that they're talking to their friends who just got married like they did, and they need to have someone who can be a mentor, not a friend and a buddy who can tell you what they don't know.
That's correct. You want to have mentors. And we've got mentors. And Dee said it so wonderfully. You can get mentors and who don't have to be physically in front of you, who don't have to be, so in fact, they don't have to be alive. Okay, one of my mentors, and has been for years, is Dr. Benjamin Mays, who was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor. And I've read everything he wrote. I've listened to his audios, and I learned a lot about life and about success from Dr. Mays' audios and videos and books. Well, I've got mentors in success. I've got mentors in my financial life, but we also had to get mentors in our personal life with our marriage. So that was a big deal, and it had a major part to do with us. So mentors versus mistakes. That's why we recommend you get mentors, and that's what we did. And now we're grateful that we are considered by many to be mentors and helping people to stay married, because our book has become a tool, and our whole package of marriage materials have become a tool for people who want to have a better marriage. You know, when we wrote this book, we wrote the book with a mindset of saving 1 million marriages and enhancing 1 million marriages. And we're getting such great responses from people who were on their way to the divorce court, on their way. We had one lady call one day. She said, I hear you on the radio. By the way, I was mentioning the radio. You can hear me on Sirius XM, channel 141, where I have the #1 self-help show in the country now. And you can hear me daily on Radio 1 on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell on the Praise Network, where you can hear me at 7:20 Central, 8:20 Eastern with Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolly. And we've been just on the last month, I've been talking about marriage on the show. I've just been talking about marriage and marriage. And so it was timely that you would say, hey, come and be a part of this. So we're grateful.
Well, I'm so glad to have your list. They're putting it in the chat room and everything, the information, Sirius, and the other one, we'll get that one in there in just a minute too. So make sure you jot that down. So since you're taking notes, guys, and I know you are, because you're wanting to not only get information for yourself, but you're going to pass this along to someone else. So we definitely want to put in the information of where you can find Dr. Jolly on the radio. As he just said, he's the #1 self-help, radio show. So you want to join him there and listen to what he's saying. He's got some good information. We're definitely going to talk about the book a little bit more in just a minute. I want just to make sure I pause and ask you a question that you need to ask everybody else you know that's married, or give this to them as a little tidbit when they do get married. You need a mentor. You've not been this way before, so you need a mentor. So I ask you today, who is your mentor? And one of the things we just said, that criteria for a mentor is they have to have been married a little while, like, not 5 or 6 years. They need to be up there, because they can really help you and tell you some good stuff. And then the other thing I would say with the mentors is follow what they tell you to do, because you don't know what you're doing, okay? I'm just going to keep it real. You don't know what you're doing. And so you might say, well, I don't want that old person telling me, hey, you need us to tell you what to do. It will keep you from having a lot of bumps in the road, and will keep you together. And that's when you really start to enjoy marriage, when you can stay together and you come through all of those things. So Dr. Jolly and Dr. G, I want you to talk to me about the 3 top reasons people get divorces. What's the 3 top problems that you see in marriage?
Okay, the 3 top reasons. Can you hear me okay, by the way? Because we're good. We can hear you. All right, great. The 3 main reasons people break up in marriage, marriages break up, the boulders, what we call them: sex, money, and communication. Those are 3 big boulders that break up marriage. And it's sex, too much, too little, or inappropriate actions in there somewhere. Money, come on now. Too much, too little, or mismanaging it. And then communications, very rare,
Which is the common thread.
which is a common thread, and
Everything.
rarely is it too much. It's mostly too little and
Right.
inappropriate communications. And here,
Or even understanding the different ways that each party communicates.
yes. So
That's correct.
what we talk about is this communication part. If you learn to get this communication part better, your love life get better, okay? And if you
Come
get
on
the
now.
and if you get the communication part together, your money usually gets better. So what we focused on is the communication is really the common denominator for you getting your marriage together. So what we have decided to do was give that chapter, the biggest chapter in the book, away free. We really are serious about getting people happily
Oh,
married.
praise
So
the Lord. We
go
gonna get something free.
You get
All
something
right.
free. Go to Jolly,
Communication.
jollymarriage.com. You get the free chapter from the book, Jolly, Jolley, marriage.com. And you get the free chapter from the book. And then you can also order the book there. We recommend if you order the book, you get 2 copies, one for each of you, so you can read it together, because you'll learn. Like a couple I told you I was sharing with, who she called and said she was on her way to divorce. She had heard me on the radio, and she said, I hear you on the radio talking all this marriage stuff, but we've been married 15 years. I'm done. I said, ma'am, before you give up, I want you to do one last thing. Look, you invested a lot of time and money and energy in getting married, didn't you? She said, yes. And I said, wouldn't it make sense that you at least invest a little bit of money and staying married? Because let me tell you, the average divorce lawyer starts at $10,000. That's $10,000 starting. That's a cheap divorce. One of my former, a friend I used to know, he paid $250,000. So, you can lose a lot of money. So I said, wouldn't it make sense? She said, I guess so. I said, just get 2 copies of the book, get the 2 workbooks, and get the audio book and the audio or CD or seminar. It's a bundle. She said, okay.
Can they find this on your website, or how does
jollymarriage.com.
Okay, go there and you can find out all the different things that you can purchase. And I would say you're so right, because I see people spend $25,000 on a wedding easy. Yes. And then you ask them to buy materials to help their marriage. It may cost $50, and they say they don't have $50.
They get to spend
there's a song that they used to sing when I was growing up. I'm gonna date myself right quick. It says it's cheaper to keep her.
Come on now.
It is cheaper to keep her, okay, and him. So you're gonna spend a lot of money, and you just, when you move, you lose. So we're trying to keep you together, but you got to invest in this. And a part of investment is what you do yourself in reading and getting a mentor and getting someone to counsel you, paying that person to counsel you, and follow what they say to do, because in the end, you're going to lose money and everything else.
Well, let me finish the story with this lady. She gets the 2 books, she gets the bundle, and then I don't hear from her for about 6 months. And then one day the phone rings. She says, hello, Dr. Jolly. Just want to let you know we're in D.C. celebrating our anniversary. Woo! We have
Does that make you feel good?
Hotel. I said, Lord have mercy. So it worked. It worked, and it worked. And so
if you work it though.
Yeah, you got to work. You got some work to do. Okay.
Yeah, but, Dr. D, I want to ask you a question. I
want to just jump on that. D says it takes work. A lot of 5G people hear people say, well, marriage is work. Well, let me say it is work, but it's not hard labor.
It's not hard. It's really, it just makes, you have to take control of your flesh and your mind and do what you need to do. And it's not hard when you do the right thing. But if it's really hard, it means you're fighting against your flesh. And it's a hard problem. It's just a problem you got with your flesh and your emotions. But you just have to learn how to control those. But Dr. G, you said something a minute ago, and I want to come back to it. And I think you can kind of, y'all can share that, because you said you're going to give that chapter away. Communication is the key. And this is what, when Pastor and I get ready to get into an argument, something like this is what I say to him. I said, communication is key, because he didn't understand what I said. He didn't listen to what I said or whatever. So instead of getting into an argument, I'll say communication is key. That's not what I said. But does everybody communicate the same way? And in this communication chapter, can you give us a little bit about what we're going to get, or something to really help us get us started?
That's a great question, Lady O. First of all, men communicate differently than women. Men communicate differently than women, and when their frustrations come up, you see different ways that men and women share those frustrations. Like women typically will do something called silent treatment. They shut it down.
Yeah,
Where
everything shut out. Everything got shut out.
Everything shut out. Then men will do what we call stonewalling. They put up a stone wall.
Okay, I don't hear you. Okay, yeah.
All right. Then there's something that's between the two of them that happens called stamp collecting. Now you gonna love this, Lady O. We talk about it in the book. By the way, this is the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. Stamp collecting, let me tell you what that is.
Okay, I hadn't heard that one.
See, you got to be a certain age to get this, Lady O. Just like you said, you date yourself. If you're not a certain age, you won't get this.
Okay.
How many of y'all remember S&H green stamps?
I got it.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
We got our bathroom first with S&H green stamps.
Young folks, let me explain what that is. When I was a little boy, my mama used to go to the grocery store. She'd give the lady or the man, whoever, some money, and they'd give her back her change and some stamps. They were green.
Yeah, they were green.
And she'd take them stamps home and lick them and put them in a book.
Put them in a book.
That's right. She put them in a book, and she would keep filling up the book till the book was full. Then she would take the book to a redemption center and get a FM radio or a toaster or black and white television,
right?
Something, And so stamp collecting is that's one side of the seesaw. That's the good side of stamp collecting. Here's the bad side. You stamp collect. You don't talk about something hurting you that you're upset with, and you put it in a book, and you put it in your little book, and you kept stamp collecting. And one day, you're up to 4, and you got one little thing or something on the floor, and it explodes. Wow. And all of this venom and all of this eruption comes out, and your other person, spouse, don't know what was that about. Where did this come from? It all built up because you didn't talk about it at that time when it was hurting.
Yeah.
The Bible says, do not let the sun go down on your wrath. That's what the word says, doesn't it?
That's the word. That's the word. And you're so right, because I have been guilty of that too. And I think men do it too, but they keep their silent. Okay. Women, we're going to let ours build up, and then something explodes, and we just go like, everything. We're ready to go to divorce court. And he's like, well, I didn't know it was that bad. Well, I got a stamp book over here and said it was bad. Let me tell you, you did this. And you're keeping that record. The Bible says keep no record of wrong, right? It's the same thing as stamp collecting. I got what you're saying. And I think the difference is that women get emotional about it, and we just kind of blow up about it. And but I think men do it more because women, we talk more. Don't you think so?
It depends. You talk to each more. It depends. Now, this is another point where we talk about in the book. I'm an extrovert. I tend to talk more. My wife's an introvert. She tends to be more self-reflective. And you know what? I mean, there are a lot of men who are introverts, a lot of women who are extroverts. So what we want to say is this, that communication, being open and honest, and what we say, getting the unsaid said.
But it's not always the words.
No, it's not always the words.
It is very important that people understand, that couples understand, it is not just the words. Okay. It is the inflection of the voice.
Okay.
It is the eye contact.
It's
the body language. And you have to know what the body language of your spouse is. Now, how do you get that? You can't know what that body language means if you have not studied your mate.
Okay.
And then ask the question. Your eyebrow is raised. What does that mean when you do that? Or
so
when
we,
you glance
so we
at
call it LQC. Write that one down, folks. LQC. Listen. Part of communication is listening.
More than talking.
Yeah, you got to listen. So listen, question and clarify.
When
Okay.
you said this, or when you did this, did it mean this or did it mean that? I'm not sure I'm getting what you're trying to convey to me.
Are we still here? Because I can't see nobody. Yeah, we got people talking. It's how you say it. That's right. So listen, question, clarify. Did you say this? You mean this? Oh, you didn't mean that? Oh! Yeah, Lady O dropped out somehow. So I tell you what we're going to do while Lady O gets back on, folks, we glad. She said that I am able to handle this because I do this every week with my XM show. I just talk to the audience. I talk to the people, even though
He talks to the wall.
I talk to everybody. So let me give y'all real quick the chapters from the book. I'm gonna go through the chapters, just one line, bam, hit it up, and give it to you the next one. There are 10 chapters in the book, and then there's an 11. Well, there are 11 chapters. There are 10 secrets for shaping a great marriage, and then there's an 11th chapter for those not yet married, a special chapter for people who are not yet married on how to choose the right person to marry. We can't tell you how to find them, but once you get a person in the possibility realm, we'll tell you how to decide, are they a prospect or a suspect? Come on, somebody. Are they a prospect or are they a suspect? So 10 chapters about staying married and 1 chapter for single folk. Now, let's go through them real quick. And hopefully Lady O will jump back on soon. All right? Okay. Did everybody else can hear me? Put something in the chat. Let me know you can hear me.
I need to hear that
Yeah.
one. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Someone, flare clock. Yeah. Okay. Prospect or suspect. Okay. Chapter number 1. Friends first. Friends first.
Now, you might not have married your best friend, and the pandemic has brought that up for many people.
That's right. That's right.
Because you were away from each other at least 10 hours a day.
Usually.
Work, transportation back and forth. But now for many, you're in the house, both working in the same or in a close space.
Right.
And you discover that your mate has some issues or habits that you are not aware of and is driving you crazy.
Right.
What do you do about that?
Right. So friends first. Well, that's critically important. We found that people who like each other tend to stay together better.
And you're much more tolerant.
That's right. Okay. Chapter number 2. Make God an equal part of your marriage. We see marriage as a triangle, 3 corners, me, her, and God. Come on now. Everything we do filters up through God. What does he say about this? Because when he becomes part of the marriage, then your marriage has it's like a cord that has 3 rather than 2 cords. A rope has rather than 2 has 3. It's stronger. It's a braid. Mm-hmm. So it's much more important. Number 3 is a big one. Decide to make it last. Decide to make it last. Now, we want to say it like this. Love is an emotion.
But marriage is a decision.
Woo. You got to decide to stay married. Am I right?
So you're in that boat out in the middle of the sea.
Look, folks.
And you got to, what are your options?
That's right.
There's no way around it. You have got to work it out together.
So we've been married 36 years, and I told her when I got married, I said to her, look, I'm in it for the rest of my life. Now, here's what I want to make sure I tell her. I said, look, you can get out of this marriage. There is a way out. There's a way out of here. Here's the secret for you to get out of this marriage if you choose. You can die. You die, you good. You good to go.
I'm not planning on dying.
So we're in it.
Figure out how to work through the challenge.
Tracy has a question. Yes, Tracy. Somebody said, question. I see Tracy. Love is emotion, but marriage is a decision. That's right. Tracy, go ahead and ask your question, and we'll be looking in the chat. I'm having fun with y'all, by the way. I don't know where you're at. You might be all over the world, but I'm having fun.
My question
y'all my kind of folks. Are you back, Lady O?
My question is, this is Tracy.
Oh, this Tracy. Go ahead, Trey. I can't. Let me see. Go ahead.
Is there ever a time when you do recommend, I mean, that's just not going to work? Is there ever a time that you do recommend divorce?
Not me. Okay, let me tell you why. I never recommend divorce. I do recommend, there's a time when I recommend you leave that person alone for a while.
Physical abuse.
Physical abuse. If they ever are physically abusive, do not stay.
Call
Move.
the police.
Call the police. Call the popo. Call the police. Okay? Do not stay and get beat up and be abused. Don't do that. But I'm not recommending divorce. That person has an issue. They need help. They need therapy. They need counseling. So that's the one thing. But other than that, you got to work through it. I know it's a lot of stuff that happens. But look, most marriages break up because there's some little crack that was in the marriage that wasn't dealt with. It was no system for fixing it. And it got bigger and bigger until it became a chasm too big to heal.
I think individuals see the same situation differently depending upon their cultural environment and where they came from.
Yeah.
So they see the world differently. So if you're not talking about, well, okay, my parents said this when they disagreed. They hollered and screamed and they talked it out. Oh, in my household, everybody sat down calmly and we discussed it. So you got one side hollering and screaming, which is now your norm, versus sitting quietly and talking about it. So you now have two different environments that you're coming from. How do you work that out? You have got to describe, this is what I came from, or this is what you came from. Now, how are we going to work this out, or what will we do differently for our environment?
So what she's saying, look, when you leave your parents, and we got a chapter in there, chapter number 5 is leave the drama with your mama. So when you leave your mom and your daddy, we tell you got to leave, cleave, and weave. So you got to leave, cleave, and weave. And what that means is that you leave your parents, and sometimes they did certain ways, a certain thing. You gotta weave, cleave together, and then you gotta glue it together, and then you weave a new culture. Now, a lot of questions, great questions. Someone asked about does mental abuse, when I'm talking about abuse, I'm not just talking about physical abuse. If somebody's abusive, and they can, if somebody told you when you were a child, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you, that's not true. Some people got ugly mouths. They say things that are hurtful and break your heart. And
okay, there is a study guide that goes with that you can get also on the website.
A workbook.
A study guide, a workbook.
Let me go back.
And then there's also, I want to mention, it says about parenting.
Oh, that's a whole.
Do you have a realistic? How do you realistically maintain balance being a parent?
That's a great question.
It's a great question.
But
I have an issue with whatever the balance is because I see it as a seesaw.
Well, all right. So here's one of the things we do. Okay, one of the answers to that is how do you realistically maintain balance between a parent and being a spouse? Make sure, listen carefully, that you have a weekly date night. This is critical. Now, when we were struggling, one of the things the marriage mentor said to us, make sure you have a weekly date night.
But also there was a challenge that he was traveling.
Yeah.
And I was home with the kids and working from home.
Oh, one more piece. Blended family.
And we had a blended family.
Oh, boy.
So there's so many pieces going on. I have an issue with when people say, well, you have to have life balance. The stuff is jacked up and upside down. You have to talk to each other because things are never an even keel. And some things you have to simply respond to when they come up, but you got to talk. For example, when Willie was traveling a lot and I would go to William's basketball game, let me just make it clear, my son was not an athlete. But he said to me one day, he said, Mom, Dad never comes to my games. I said, I know, sweetie, because he's traveling normally Monday through Thursday. But I shared with my husband, I said, Willie, you're going to have to look at your schedule, because William has said to me that you don't come to any of his games, which says he's missing. He's looking in the stands and he's not seeing his daddy. He's seeing his mama, but he wants to be able to see his daddy. So what can we do to help you adjust your schedule? And you know what? He worked that out. So I communicated what William has said to me. William didn't go to his dad and say, Dad, you're not coming to my games and I'm disappointed. No, he said it to his mama because I was always around. I did the carpool, all the other kind of stuff. And I told him, because of the value of what that relationship should look like for a father with his son, or just for your children.
Let me get back to it. Thank you, Dee. Let me get back to that date night. What's important about the date night? It goes back to the question about balancing parenting and spouse. Date night is your date night. And that's a time we would do it from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Thursday nights. That's
at home, because we didn't have any money to go out.
We had Jiffy Pop.
Have to have money.
99-cent Jiffy Pop popcorn. You buy the box, you can get it for 15 cents a thing. Y'all remember Jiffy Pop? You take, some of y'all young folks don't know what I'm talking about. You take this little pan and you put it on there and you put it on the fire. Boop, 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 boop.
Now you can just buy the popcorn.
All right, so look, but when we did the date night, here's the important thing. You got some parameters. You cannot talk about the kids during the date night. You cannot talk about the kids. And what we found with parents is the kids, once they get there, they suck up all your air. They suck up everything. They suck up every minute of your time. Am I right about it, parents? Y'all know I'm right about it.
And sometimes talking about the children is a way that prevents you from talking about the issues between the two of you, like your dreams that are being met or not, or your hopes, or your fears, or your anxieties. You don't talk about that because you put all this other stuff in between the two of you. So hence, don't talk about that on your date night.
Oh, by the way, before we go any further, I want y'all to write down this. We do a free marriage show every Monday night called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, the broadcast. We do it on Facebook Live and on Instagram Live at 9 o'clock Eastern. For those in Texas, it will be 8 o'clock Eastern. And it's on Facebook, Willie.Jolly, and on The Real Willie Jolly. And y'all are welcome to come, join, tell your friends, tell Lottie Dottie, everybody. Okay, we got a couple more questions. Yes, there is a workbook, a study guide. Go to jollymarriage.com and you can get the whole bundle and they will help you. Let's see. How do you not nag your husband if he doesn't do what you ask him? Oh, great question. Is a part in the book. We talk about nagging. Okay, it is not going to work. It's not going to work.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you ask your husband, you're talking about husband specifically, to do something, or you say whatever, and he doesn't do it, and you repeat it, and he doesn't do it, and you repeat it, and he doesn't do it, that doesn't work. Period. So we're all smart here, so that doesn't work. Then what do? I'll tell you what worked for me. And then you have to figure out how to adjust it to your mate. I married a person who never made up the bed.
I just believe, I'm getting back in it tonight. Well, I got to do it. Make it.
When I discovered that, it was traumatizing.
Because she is a neat freak.
I am a type A personality who is also an introvert. So this did not work for me. The bed was not made. I was the kind that years ago, before there were fitted sheets, you did the corners. I folded the corners and made everything neat. He did not get it. So I had to think about that. And I really had to be prayerful because it was annoying.
By the way, Tracy is Willie.Jolly on Facebook Live, not William. Then you'll get my son.
Yes.
Right, he's William.Jolly. I'm Willie.Jolly, W-I-L-L-I-E. Thank you.
So I discovered what was important to him. Or I thought about it. I studied it. And I know he likes to be intimate and he wants to have sex regularly and with me initiating. So this is what I did and what I still do. Okay, sweetie, you know what? I would love it if you would make up the bed. Because I would be out early because I really get up like 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning for a series of things. And he's the last one, so he has to finish making up the bed. And I would say, sweet talking, sweetie, this is very important to me. And you know what? If you do that, I will do for you what I know you really like, what you love. Would you like that?
Hercules. I love it.
And then I would remind him with a taste of what he was going to get.
Come on, somebody.
And then give it often.
Like Chicago, voting. Vote early and often.
I have never had what is this, 30?
That's 30 years. I have not missed waking up that bed in 30 years.
The bed.
I put the pillows up. I put the
fluffs the pillows.
I go get the other kind of pillows. I put them all up there.
I would say the compromise is also because I was used to the tight sheets and everything with the corners. I switched that. So I now have the duvet cover, things you don't have to tuck in. You can fluff it up. You can throw the pillows on. So I made it easier for him to make up the bed, which was something that was important to me. And every given opportunity, when he does something that I like, I remind him of that and I give him his sex immediately. Now, what do you say? Well, we're in the house together, so it's not like they're,
Let's go to the number one chapter that everybody wants this book for. Chapter number 8. Okay. What advice would you offer the person with divorce is trusting someone about the other person? Let me talk to you about that in a minute. Let me get to this while we're talking about sex. Chapter number 8 is the most popular chapter in the book. Chapter number 8, sex, headaches, and other lies. And the reason why we named that sex, headaches, and other lies is because a friend of mine on her marriage day, her mother, she's down in South Carolina, her mama said to her, baby, I'm gonna give you some wise advice. Don't ever tell that lie that you have a headache. Because when you tell that lie you got a headache, remember there's a woman somewhere with an aspirin in her pocketbook. Come on, somebody. Look, sex is a big part of marriage. And unfortunately, and I wish Lady O was on because she would probably talk about this, is that, I don't know where she went, but that's why we're here to be able to help because I love the Ogletree.
Okay.
Is that men and women see sex differently.
Yes.
Listen, I am.
Are you back?
I'm back. Listen here. The devil is a liar. Okay, wait, let me get this phone here right. We had an electrical blackout in our neighborhood.
Lord have mercy.
At the time that I'm talking about communication, I think the devil got mad and knocked me out completely. So I'm coming in now from the phone. Is it on that one too?
Well, that's good. We're glad. That's called Murphy's Law, but it's okay. Well, look, we talk about sex, Lady O. We talk about sex and the fact that in the church far too often people don't want to talk about sex. But thank God we are able to tell you the truth. Now, here's the truth.
Tell the truth.
Men, if any men on here, listen, man, listen carefully. Women need 2 things and they need it desperately.
Okay, come on, tell us.
All right, women need intimacy and security. And they need it desperately. Intimacy is not always sex. Intimacy is that warm feeling that they get on the inside. And that's why I tell gentlemen, if you want to have some sex at night, you need to start working on it in the morning. Okay, I take her a cup of coffee. I say, baby, I take her a little cup of coffee when that is
everybody knows what the other one is doing, right? But you still like it. You still like the attention.
Yeah.
You still like the sweet talk because it's the words as well as the touching and the closeness that helps to bring the woman in line with, okay, I'm warming up for the night.
Okay. Oh, by the way, she warming up. Let me tell you one more thing. This one is a big one. Women are crock pots. Okay, they crock pots. You got to put some of y'all know about a crock pot. We got one over there.
We use our crock pot every week.
It's a slow cook, slow warm. You can't. Don't be coming up there tapping them on the shoulder and talking about, are you ready? It don't work like that, man. Yo, bro.
But they might be ready.
Man. Oh, why? Because men, while women are crock pots, men are microwave ovens.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. And what you all said earlier, I want to go back to that just for a minute. Communication is a key, because whether it's sex or money or whatever it is, you need to communicate, because everybody doesn't communicate the same.
Yes.
And some women are microwaves and some men are crock pots. And so in most cases, it's like that. But, in counseling with couples, we have counseled some couples where, the woman is saying, hey, I'm ready every night, and he whatever, but it could be two in different seasons.
Well, we got to help that brother.
Might have to need some help.
Well, that brother needs some help. Let me tell you what the brother needs. The brother needs some natural vitamins. You got to get some ashwagandha. You got to get some eleuthero. They all plant-based. Go to
Wait a minute, back up now. You got to spell that. I don't even know. That sounds like a song. What kind of root is that? We need this root.
We got ashwagandha.
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 Spell it.
ASHWANGA. Ashwagandha. ASHWANGANDA. Ashwagandha.
Okay, put that in the chat, ladies, because we gonna all get that for our husbands.
And then you need some eleuthero. They're right there, D. Right there. They're right there. There's the ashwagandha. Hand me the ashwagandha. This is the ashwagandha.
Okay, ashwagandha. Okay.
Okay, you put in a couple pieces, a little drops in. This is eleuthero.
Okay.
And then the
drops you take every day? Yeah.
And Damiana. It's natural supplements, like taking your vitamin B and vitamin C and vitamin E, and it's you put it in there.
But here's the other piece of that.
Okay.
But here's the other piece, let me say.
Okay.
It is also important with aging, okay? Everybody's at a slightly different point. In some instances, the woman is ready. So you have to help your mate. If he's doing all he can with his herbs and health issues, then it is certainly encouraged that you be the aggressor and you help to stimulate him.
Okay.
You're not just lying there waiting for him to stick it in. That is not how it works. And if you don't know how to arouse your man, then you need to get some books.
Okay.
Look, you see why we got selling books, because we just come straight at you. We tell the truth.
No, it's crazy. The reason you're married to the
You know what? Let me tell you something. We're going to have an overnight retreat somewhere where we can talk in depth about this, everything, about the arousal and that Kuwanda music, stuff.
I didn't tell the women what the men want. I told the men what the women want: intimacy and security. Ladies, here's what men need. Listen carefully. Listen carefully.
Okay.
Men need two things.
All right.
Sex and respect.
Respect and sex.
I don't know which one is more important.
Okay, you tell us. You the man. Which one is most important? Come on.
I don't know. Okay.
I already know. Keep it real. Which one?
Look. There's a study that they did. Men think about sex 17 times per day. It's in their DNA. It's how their mind works. Now, some of them before breakfast. Now, sometimes they think about it, but their body's not willing to work on it. That's why
they need some help.
That's why they said, but they need respect. You gotta give man respect. He gotta feel like he's the king of the forest. All right.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, if you give him all the respect in the world and no sex, is that gonna work?
No. You see, we said that quick. You see, we said that Because
think
look,
that you
if you
respect
take the respect away, he feels emasculated. And then he's not able to do the sex like he wants to do it. So it's two things. So this chapter is a big chapter. It's a huge chapter because we want, marriage is breaking up, just like you said, Lady O, and the church, because
you don't want to talk about the issues, but you're married so that you can be together whenever you want to be, and you don't have to go somewhere else to get fulfilled.
And look,
but then you marry, and you don't talk about it.
Look, we've been doing these big marriage conferences at big mega churches around the country, and here's what we found out. This was pre-COVID, that we would ask at the end of the session. We give out postcard, a little, what a postcard?
It's a card.
A little card. And say, write your questions on the card.
Like this.
Right.
It's a card like it's
but
card,
you don't have to
write the question.
Right. You don't have to put your name. You don't have to put your name. Just whatever. Let me tell you something. When we did that and it's anonymous, sex was the number one thing that came up.
Absolutely.
Sex was the number one. Issues with sex.
It's
okay, Ashwagandha, someone asked the names of the things. What about
spell it again?
Ashwagandha. Someone got it in the chat.
Okay,
ASH.
somebody can just write it in there for us.
And Eleuthero. ELEUTHERO. Eleuthero.
Right. Okay.
Then somebody asked about
and then one last one. Damiana. 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 All right, now we got something for women.
Okay. For menopause, it is a medical food supplement, but you have to get it from your doctor, and it's FOSTEUM.
Okay, y'all write that down.
Fostrum Plus capsule from your doctor. FOSTEUM.
Okay.
Plus capsule. And let me just say the other piece. As you go through menopause and stuff gets to get dry, then you do need that as a supplement, as well as what my gynecologist recommended, something natural. If you like the smell of coconut oil, all natural. Or olive oil. What do you have next to your bed?
Let me tell y'all something. I love that coconut oil. I love that coconut.
Because we're gonna have to get a little bit deeper, and we got a lot more questions. Because here's the deal: this is why you have a lot of infidelity.
Johnny said we're normally PG, and
no, I'm sorry.
This is no, it's not our Johnny. This is real life. Marriages are breaking up in the church because we typically don't talk about sex, and yet that's
and when you start, you realize that so many people are having the same issues.
Same issues. They're having with these letters we got. We thought, but thank God. Now look, I'm a licensed minister. I have a doctorate in theology. I have a DMin. I have a master's in theology, a doctorate in ministry. But I'm a motivational speaker. And so I tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I talk about my ups, my downs. We talk about blended families, how it was so tough. We got all these things we want to share because we want to save marriages.
Exactly.
We got to save more marriages. I love what Lady O said, that she and Pastor are committed to saving marriages, and people are coming to them.
And that's how the devil can get in the midst of when you hide stuff. When you're not truthful, when you're shy and you don't want to talk about it. I have to say, just like some real conservative people, they're conservative when the lights are on.
Yeah.
But they're doing everything under the sun when you turn the light off.
Yeah.
Bring the light in. Expose everything.
Show it what you got.
And look here.
Y'all join us Monday night at 9 o'clock on Facebook Live and on Instagram. You see, we have a good time. And we talk about the truth, and we take your questions, and we are straight up, but we want to save marriages. We want to save marriages. Go get that book, jollymarriage.com.
I want to say this real quickly because we're kind of almost running out of time, but I got to say this because Satan tried to cut it off, but we're going to continue this. We're going to have a marriage retreat, and I like it that you all get real because sometimes you have these people come and talk they don't want to get real and people go back the same way. And
Right.
my thing is, if the sex is good for both people, you can overcome some of the other issues.
Amen.
That's right.
Like money and all of the other things that's going on, you can overcome it. But if the sex is not right, then you can't even hear straight.
Right.
I know that's right.
I like the way you said that. You can't even hear
You
straight.
can't even hear straight. I don't want to hear what you got to say. So we're going to talk about that
Like that
because
one, you can't hear straight.
another one is the money issues. And see, here's the thing with the money issues. If we're doing good in bed, then I want to spend the money right for you. You want to spend the money right for me.
Amen.
And if I say I don't like you spending the money that way, then you're going to hear me because you hear me in other ways too.
Yes.
I want
Yes.
to communicate and everybody be happy. And they
Yes,
said, if mama
amen.
ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So
Yes.
That's right.
money and all the other issues that are going on in these marriages and communication. You see, women, if the sex is good, the man will communicate.
That's
Yes.
right.
You
That's
say, I
right.
need you to communicate with me, or else I just can't hear. Then he gonna want to communicate at least for a day or two.
Well, look, everybody go to jollymarriage.com. Get the bundle.
Yes.
Go get the
Yes.
bundle, jollymarriage.com. We sign it, we'll send it. And I'm telling you, folks, we want to save marriages. We are so grateful for all of the marriages who've called now and say, I am together because y'all are straight up and they got the books.
And the saving of the marriage is really providing the legacy
Yes.
for our next generation.
Exactly.
How can you have a legacy when we're all jacked up and everybody's going different places? You certainly don't have any money to leave anybody because you split it all up when you went through the divorce.
Exactly.
And then what kind of pattern are you creating for your children? What kind of image are you putting out there? When you look at our community,
We gotta go. She gotta go. Hey, look, we love y'all. We thank y'all. We come back. Pastor Ogletree, First Lady, love y'all.
We love you too, and we're gonna get together and get this together because we gotta have in Texas. We're gonna have to have a marriage retreat. Now I know this pandemic is going on, but we're kind of loosening up a little bit, and we need some help. So get the book, guys, and start to read to educate yourself. But you got some really good things today that you understand that you can do, and even just the medicine and things, the herbs that you told us about. That was really great today. You gave us some good feedback. So listen, we love both of you guys, and thank you so much for being real and relevant. Come on, Pastor. Pastor saying hello. Come around here, my honey, my sugar mom for 48 years. Baby, tell me.
There's my guy.
If the sex ain't right, it ain't right.
That's
Tell
right.
What's up, Doc? What's up, Pastor?
Really, y'all, thank you. Y'all have been a blessing. It's awesome show. Get the book. Get the book.
All right. Okay, listen, guys, thank you all so much for joining us. And it's time for us to sign off. We are just going to continue some more things with marriage. And so keep an eye out for it. Go ahead and sign in and let us know that you're interested, your other questions and things. And we're going to make sure that we give you what you need. But the first step is invest in your own marriage by buying the book. If you need counseling, pay for a counselor. Pastor and I have a counseling service that we do for married couples, and we've been just, giving it away free. But guess what? We're getting ready to start charging, because one of the things that I know that when people invest financially in something, that they will do it right.
yes.
And then they will do what you say, because they don't want to waste their money, but they want to waste your time sometimes. So listen, we're going to get it together. Y'all stay together, love each other, get you some help, invest in your marriage, get the book, and I'll see you next Sunday at 3 for Tea with Lady O. God bless you. I'll see you next week. Thank you, my guests. Let's give it up.